All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today to learn how to sell more without doing more in Q4. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty proud of that rhyme scheme, if I'm being honest. Just a couple quick reminders here before we get started. This webinar is being recorded, and we will send a replay tomorrow to everyone who's registered for the webinar. If you have any difficulties during the webinar, try exiting out and entering back in. Oftentimes, that fixes most problems. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A box in the bottom right of your screen, and we'll get to as many as we can at the end. And now, I'd like to introduce your presenters for today, which is me, Rob Zaleski from ShippingEasy, and Katie Ward from Bonanza. At
Hey,
Bonanza, Kate, oh, say hello, Katie.
hi everyone, happy to be here.
So at Bonanza, Katie attracts and retains top talent by maintaining a stellar company culture and providing competitive benefits for employees and their families. But Katie also oversees the creation and maintenance of support content for Bonanza.com's user base and a fun and friendly demeanor. When she's not enjoying her time in the office, you may find Katie visiting breweries around her Ballard neighborhood with her dogs, perusing Seattle's many farmers and craft markets, or kayaking on Lake Union. I am the digital content and brand manager here at ShippingEasy. I've spent the past few years helping e-commerce merchants connect with their customers and build their businesses. I'm also a podcaster, flag football player, and long-suffering, die-hard Cleveland Browns fan living here in Austin, Texas. So now that you know who we are, let's get into this thing. So I have a question for you. Do you like doing extra work? I guess I jumped a slide there. Do you like doing extra work? No? Yeah, I see all of you are shaking your heads. No. Just kidding, I can't see you. But I do know that you probably would like to reduce your work rather than increase it, particularly during the upcoming busy fourth quarter. So let's talk about ways that you can sell more without doing more. And as you can see here with this ridiculous GIF that I put in the slide, email inboxes are overloaded, but that doesn't mean that no one reads emails. As a matter of fact, nearly 2/3 of people are influenced by marketing emails, meaning that your emails aren't just going out into the ether with no effect. Of course, this means marketing emails done right, which we'll talk about later. 82% is the average open rate for welcome emails. Now that's a huge number. It also tells you that people don't actually mind hearing from brands when it feels relevant and appropriate. Welcome emails are a great introduction to your brand and an opportunity to establish a good relationship with customers. And we'll talk more about how to use them here in just a minute. Now, many e-commerce merchants use email, but not nearly enough make use of automated campaigns to build business on autopilot. So let's dive into that a little bit. No one has time to write individual emails as they grow their business. But personalization is not just a nice to have. Customers absolutely expect it. When you introduce automation, your emails trigger at the right time and feel relevant. But it's more than just a feeling. According to Emma Email's research, email campaigns based on triggered events produce 624% higher conversions than standard emails. That's a big number. Now, communication cadence is key to staying top of mind with customers, but not everything has to be a promotional or sale related message. Think birthdays, anniversaries, reminders, things like that. So let's look at some examples of emails that you can put on autopilot to build business. First, let's talk about follow-up and transactional emails. Now, transactional emails can generate up to 6 times more revenue than standard emails, according to Campaign Monitor. They often have higher open rates and feel more welcome in inboxes. It doesn't hurt to include some promotional language or an offer into some transactional emails. As a matter of fact, ShippingEasy's customer marketing tool actually lets you include product recommendations in confirmation emails, for example. Now, people love to feel welcomed by a brand and thanked for their purchase, which is why so many people open these kind of emails. So you should definitely be making the most of your follow-up and your transactional emails. Now, Buy it again reminders. Now, these ones are super important. You want a way to compete with Amazon and other Amazon sellers. You want your customers to feel like you know them so well that you're reading their minds. Use buy it again reminders. Think about Amazon subscriptions and how they make reordering products easy by automating the order process in perpetuity. You can do a similar thing with buy it again reminders. You simply set up automation to send an email at the right time that takes customers right back to the order for that very specific product that they're about to run out of. This is especially useful for finite items like supplements, makeup, fragrances, consumable items, but there's also some unique ways that you can use buy it again reminders. Now, for example, if you have a store or a platform that allows you to mark something as a gift, you can actually set up an automation reminder to remind that person to buy a gift again around that time next year. You could actually kind of be the savior that reminded them so they didn't forget that all-important gift. It's also a great way to get ahead of the holidays by automating emails to customers who purchased during the holiday season last year and reminding them that it's that time of year again. Or another clever way to do that is target some of your last-minute shoppers from last year with stress reduction deals or an offer for free shipping if they buy early rather than waiting last minute. And the nice thing is you can set all of these kind of emails up now and reap the benefits during the busy holiday season. Now, pretty much anybody that sells online knows that feedback rules the world of e-commerce. 72% of customers don't take action until they have read reviews. But think about the last time you wrote a review. Was it a good experience or a bad one that prompted you to write a review? According to reviews trackers, consumers are 21% more likely to leave a review after a negative experience than a positive one. And according to some research shared in Inc. magazine, it takes roughly 40 positive customer experiences to undo the damage of a single negative review. So you need to actively encourage every customer who interacts with your brand to write reviews, because 70% of people say that they will write a review if asked. And you need to encourage happy customers and advocates for your brand to share their experiences. By being proactive, you can encourage people who have the average to exceptional experience rather than just waiting for those who had a really bad experience to write their negative review. And the more positive reviews you garner from across your sales channels, the more likely you are to achieve that top-rated seller status on Bonanza, which I hear is a good thing. So there are many benefits to reminding people to provide feedback of their experiences with your brand. Now, here's an example I love from a brand I love. This is Chubbies. They make mostly men's clothing and swimwear. They actually sent this email out following up after one of my purchases. And if you take a look at the email here, there's a lot of good things about it. First of all, the one like this is visually easy to recreate. This one's actually a little bit more complicated because of the functionality, but you can actually build something like this pretty easily. Notice that they give you the clickable options. This one is unique in that you can actually fill in the form, but you can click each one of those star ratings and it will take you to where you would leave a review. But also notice the user-generated content opportunity. You can see there where I have the highlighted hashtag Chubbies where they encourage you to share on Instagram. So even if you don't get a review from someone, encouraging positive word of mouth through user-generated content can actually be even more powerful than a review because people trust their friends and family's experiences. So something like this, not difficult to create, but super powerful for building your brand. And these can be set on autopilot. Now, win-back campaigns are a really great tool for customer retention. Sometimes people just kind of space out about your brand and they need a little encouragement to find their way back. Sending a win-back campaign anywhere from 60 to 100 days after their last purchase, depending, of course, on your product lifecycle, can re-engage buyers before they totally forget about your business and your products. Your sales data acts as the trigger, making this type of email campaign pretty much completely hands-free. Now, automated campaigns are great, but you also don't want to forget about regular campaigns. If you don't have the time to start from scratch every time, ShippingEasy has you covered, but we actually have a whole library of templates ready to go in our customer marketing tool, which makes building emails very simple. But one of the cool things is I went through and I crunched some numbers and pulled some data from some of our, I believe it's our top 500 customers that are using our customer marketing tool. And we're seeing an average open rate of 38 to 59%, which is far and above the industry average of 21%. And click-through rates, we see up to 31% for our top 500 customers. And the industry average is 2.61%. So not only are they getting people to open their emails, they're getting people to actually engage and interact with their emails. And it's a very little time investment because the templates are already built. It just takes a little bit of customization, which we've add new features to it constantly. So you always have that opportunity to just jump in there, send out a quick email campaign, segment your list, and be good to go. Now, email isn't the only thing that you can put on autopilot. So guys, if you're still using spreadsheets or Google Docs or a legal pad to track your inventory, you gotta stop it. It's time to start automating your inventory and having your product quantities sync and update automatically. No more physically counting things every day. Then you can take that extra time that you get back and focus your efforts on growing your business rather than managing your inventory. Reporting is also something that you can put on autopilot. You know what's really easy? Having a daily, weekly, or monthly report generate that automatically to provide reorder estimates based on trends in your sales data. We recommend setting up something called velocity and forecasting reports, which take the guesswork out of reordering your products. They use trends from your sales data and can help you accurately predict the future and take the turnaround time into account so that you know exactly when you need to reorder and create your purchase orders. Now, before I switch things over to Katie so she can cover some of her side, I just want to remind you, those of you who are not yet ShippingEasy customers, that our platform lets you use your data rather than lose it. One platform powers your shipping, your email marketing, and your inventory management seamlessly, so you can do it all with less. And you can give it a free test run for free for 30 days, and there'll be a link at the end to direct you to start that. So now I'm actually going to switch things over to Katie. And Katie, did you get the screen sharing? You did. Awesome.
Gotcha. All right, hopefully everybody can see me now. Thanks, Rob. That was informative and entertaining, and I only hope that my portion will follow your lead. So as Rob mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, my name is Katie Ward, and I work in HR and operations over at Bonanza.com. So part of my job entails training and content management, and I'm happy to be here to talk about how sellers can find success during the most profitable time of the year. So as we all know, the holiday season is undoubtedly the busiest shopping time of the year. And with the explosion of e-commerce retail in the past several years, and those hyped up events like Black Friday and Cyber Monday, you can expect to see more traffic to your store. So the question everybody's asking is, how can I capitalize off of this spike of traffic? So over the next few slides, we're going to take a look at a few ways that you can set your store up for success. Great. So one of the first things that you should be doing when setting up a store is making clear store policy expectations. Buyers don't want to be surprised. Outline what your shipping, your return, and your refund policies are. They need that info in order to make that purchasing decision upfront. Another benefit to clearly stating those policies is it can help protect you against potential disputes. Craft a compelling origin story. So competition is really stiff in e-commerce. Why should buyers be purchasing from you as opposed to another retailer? Give buyers information that will let them get to know your business. Be accessible to your customers. So this is a really, really big one. Online shopping does not provide the interpersonal experience that shoppers get at brick and mortar stores. So you want to make sure that the buyer can get in touch with you in case they have any questions. Share your contact information, links to social media, etc. Build upon trust. You've got a positive selling reputation on other platforms. Let buyers know that by importing feedback if the platforms you're selling on allow that. That gives them the confidence to know that they're going to get what they order from you because you've been doing this for a while on other platforms. And then giving buyers the choice. So not all buyers are going to use the same payment provider. You want to make sure that they have options and can choose their preferred method. And you can do that by utilizing all the payment processors that are available on your selling platform. Also, make sure to familiarize yourself with the payment distribution process. So there might be different timelines for when the buyer's money will actually hit your account, and you want to be aware of that to make sure you're fulfilling your orders in a timely manner. So other ways that you can make sure that you're doing less hard work in order to sell more is with automating your inventory management. So you've already done the work in the past. And again, the theme of this is to sell more without doing more. So say thanks to your past self and use the work that you've already put into your listings by importing that data from the platforms you're selling on already to the platforms you want to sell on. So Bonanza, for example, has free importers for eBay, Amazon, Shopify, and Etsy. So if your inventory is already clean and ready to go on there, you can copy that data over to Bonanza. And if you're not selling on one of those platforms, you likely have the option to download into one of those bad inventory files that Rob mentioned we maybe shouldn't be using anymore. But if you can at least copy all that data down and upload it to your other platform, that'll make life a lot easier for you. You can also use third-party inventory managers. Companies like SparkLister, Channel Advisor, and Ecom Dash allow you to get your inventory across multiple platforms with the click of a button. And even ShippingEasy allows you to automate your inventory and those post-purchase purchase orders. Using these kinds of services allows you to ensure you're not running out of stock or overselling items, which is obviously going to create that poor buyer experience and prevent buyers from coming back for repeat purchases. So now that we've talked a little bit about how you can set your store up for success, let's talk about the individual listings, because this is where buyers are coming to find out information about the product that they may or may not want to purchase. Keywords are going to be your title lines. So these are the search terms that buyers are using to find your items. You want to make sure that your title includes all of the relevant details. The recommended title format goes brand, gender, product, color, and size. So for example, here we've got Chanel, that's the brand, women's, that's the gender, chenille sweater, that's the product, black, that's the color, and then the size is extra large. All those include the terms that a buyer is going to type in when they're trying to find that particular product. You also want to avoid promotional text like new or free shipping, and things like punctuation and all caps in your titles. Those actually look spammy, and buyers don't trust those ads. You also want to include as many item traits as possible, because traits are going to help search engines categorize your items. And some search engines, like Google Shopping, for example, require specific traits to be included for certain items. A UPC is required by Google Shopping for any new brand name items. So if you don't include that, there's a good chance your listing will be disapproved and won't be advertised. Pictures. Here's another thing that's super, super important when online shopping. Buyers aren't able to physically see the item before purchasing, so you want to use high quality images that aren't distracting from the product itself with things like text or watermark. Make sure that there are clear, crisp images with good lighting. You want to show many angles and include everyday items for scale. And if you don't have access to studio photography to enhance your images with a white background, there are programs out there like the Background Burner, which can remove the background from an image for you. And lastly, your descriptions should be informative and accurate. Anticipate what kind of questions the buyer might have before they make a purchase and make sure they're answered in the description. Include details like dimensions and compatibility so that buyers know that this product will work for them. If the buyer has to contact you to get the information that they need before making the purchase, you're more likely to lose the sale. So all of these things are optimizing for search engines and specific platforms, but we recommend learning about search engine optimization for each platform that you're selling on to make sure your listings are set up to do the best. Let's take look at a couple of examples of some listings that do and don't follow those guidelines. So here we've got an example of a listing that is following those recommended guidelines. We can see that the keyword search terms are present in the item title. It clearly describes what this product is and should show up in search results when buyers are looking for this particular item. They've got that clean, professional photo. We can easily see what the item is. There's no distractions in the background because it's crisp and white. We can see that this is correctly categorized, cleaning products, yep, matches that floor cleaner. So that's gonna make it easy for us to find in those search results as well, especially if we're not totally sure what item we wanna buy, we just know it's a cleaning product. Well, now this will at least show up when a buyer is searching that particular category. They also include other traits, right? Maybe I really love that lemon scent and I wanna make sure that whatever I buy is lemon scented. Well, I can see that that trait includes that in the fragrance field. So including that information really helps the buyer make that final decision. On the other hand, we have one with maybe some common mistakes, listing that could use a little bit of TLC here. So we've got a very generic, non-descriptive title. I mean, it's candy, that's accurate, but if I'm searching specifically for Sour Patch Kids or fruit candy, this item probably isn't going to show up in those search results. You can see that the quality of the photo isn't as great, right? It's a little dark. It's kind of hard to read because the bag's a little crinkled. There's a glare from the flash that's blocking some of the words. In addition to that, we don't have any traits or keywords that specify that this is Sour Patch Kids or this is a fruity, sour and sweet candy. I don't know what type of candy this is. So as I'm searching for it, it's just not gonna appear. And then we can even see that it is in the incorrect category. I suppose it's possible that if I were just browsing through crafts, I would be interested in purchasing candy, but that's not really likely. And certainly if I'm looking for candy, I'm not going to go to the crafts category. So now we've talked about how we can set up our store to be successful. We can set up our listings to entice buyers to purchase them. And so you've made a sale and that's great. But those post-sale logistics are just as important as all the pre-sale preparation that you do. Once you make a sale, you want to streamline your shipping process. So that's true whether you have your own warehouse or you're using some sort of shipping service or even a partner like ShippingEasy. If you're responsible for shipping your orders, make sure that your inventory is organized so you can easily locate it and then package it so you can get it out the door for timely delivery. Make the unboxing experience unique. So buyers have been waiting to get this item. They're super excited when your package arrives. Using some sort of fun or festive packing materials is going to make you memorable, and it's going to let your brand shine and really let the buyer know what your company is all about. We also recommend including pertinent order information on the packing slip, so there are no surprises when the buyer opens up that box and unloads those items. They know exactly what they ordered and all those things are within that box. And then being available for your customers. So checking your inbox at least once daily, because customers want to know when they can expect their package. If you communicate that shipping timeline, like Rob mentioned before, with maybe a post-sale confirmation message, letting them know how long it typically takes for your handling, how long your delivery service typically takes, that's going to eliminate some of the stress that the buyer might have, some of the negative feelings, and also some of the contacts that they might have to you by asking those questions. Because you've already given them that information up front, they don't need to waste your time answering that. But if they are contacting you with any post-purchase questions, make sure that you're promptly replying to that to give a positive buying experience and encourage those repeat purchases. So at Bonanza, we really enjoy the topic of this webinar, selling more without doing more, because we're a low effort, high reward marketplace. We're very seller focused, and our goal is to take the busy work out of online selling. Some highlights about our company: we have no upfront costs before a sale is made. So it's always free to list your items. There are no listing fees. And we actually cover any of the upfront costs, which actually includes advertising on external platforms like Google Shopping. So most online marketplaces will make you pay for advertising, whether you make a sale or not. But here at Bonanza, you only pay once you sell, so it's totally risk-free. Our starting fees are 3.5% of your offer, and we also have flexible advertising options where you can choose a different commission level if you want to spend some money on that advertising after your sale is made. As we mentioned before, you don't want to have to do everything from scratch. That's daunting. You've already done all that work to create those listings on other platforms you're selling on, and we understand that. So we built some importers that allow you to copy that listing data over from places like eBay, Amazon, Shopify, and Etsy, or even one of those CSV files. We also provide sellers with marketing tools because we want you to have the customer data for your particular customers so that you can build your brand through repeat purchases. Most marketplaces don't want buyers to know that they're buying from individual sellers like yourself, but at Bonanza, we allow you to send coupons to past customers, create loyalty programs for repeat customers, and even provide incentives for future potential customers. And of course, we've got direct integration with ShippingEasy. So a lot of you are here today because you already use ShippingEasy or you're considering signing up with ShippingEasy. And again, they can help you manage your inventory across multiple platforms as well as your order processing. And that includes Bonanza. And that's all I've got for today.
All right. Thank you so much, Katie, for all that great stuff. We're now going to go ahead and get to our Q&A portion. Looks like we've got a couple minutes to spare here. I did get a question from Donald I wanted to address real quick. He was asking if the email templates work with Gmail and then sending from Gmail. So the way that our customer marketing platform works is we actually have a drag and drop builder where you manage your list. You can upload a list if you need to. You build the email right in the platform and then you send it from there. But you can have whatever from email address that you want. So you could put your Gmail address in there as the from sender, and then all of the replies and everything will go to that inbox. And then that's where you would manage all of the communication. So that's a great question. I just want to make sure that we addressed that one off the bat in case anybody else had that same question. Looks like there's a couple here for you, Katie. So you mentioned Google Shopping advertising. So how does somebody connect, or how do I connect my account to Google Shopping?
Yeah, great question. That can be a little bit scary for a lot of sellers, especially kind of smaller businesses that don't really understand how advertising feeds work and what goes into that. At Bonanza, we have a simple advertising dashboard where you're allowed to choose which platforms you want to advertise items on. That includes Google Shopping, but also things like Bing ads and other places. And then you can also even select what the post-sale commission level is that works best for your business. So we offer you a lot of options, which you can change and play with at any time to kind of find out what's going to work best for you. But ultimately, you don't need to understand how to submit an advertising feed or navigate Google AdWords. We do all that on the back end for you.
All right, awesome. And I've got a question here for me. So what do you mean when you say use it or lose it with our data? So yeah, I'm really happy to break this down a bit. So e-commerce transactions are chock full of data, and you can use that data in multiple ways. So a single order contains more than just a person's name or email, or name, physical address, email address. It can tell you if they bought a gift, what their shipping speed preference is, how much they're willing to spend, how interested they might be in coupons or free shipping thresholds. So you can use this data to personalize communications to offer them things in the future. For example, let's say you want to offer discounts on snow apparel to people living in the Northeast in the fall, while featuring lighter garb to people like here in Texas in the fall, because it's still going to be in the 80s here. Your order data can help you figure that information out. It also fuels your things like velocity reporting, which tells you how quickly you're likely to sell out of an item and when you need to reorder with turnaround time in consideration. So this data can be used to create shipping automation that reduces the time that you spend on processing orders down to mere minutes. And the reason I say lose it is because people and governmental organizations are becoming a bit more protective over data, particularly if you have customers in Canada and Europe. CAN spam and the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, gives people power over their data, how you use it, how you can store it, and it empowers them to request removal of their data. So things can change pretty quickly, and you want to make sure that you're sending the most relevant type of communications possible so that you don't get people wanting you to no longer have their data. And so if you're just not using it, in essence, you're just losing the data because it's sitting there not doing you any good. So I hope that answers that question. Let's see. Looks like Katie, we have another one here, and this one you want to talk about saving time. What do you do about customers that abuse returns?
Ooh, yeah, good question. So Bonanza actually allows sellers to set their own policies surrounding returns. Unlike maybe some other marketplaces, you're not necessarily beholden to offer like a one size fits all policy that's dictated by Bonanza. So we do recommend clearly stating your return policy up front. That's something we kind of talked about in our slides before, just to avoid confusion. If the buyer knows what the policy is, then they're less likely to abuse those returns. However, it does happen, we understand that. And our team actually monitors buyers who are doing things like filing excessive disputes against purchases so that we can take action to remove them from our platform and better protect sellers from potential fraud.
Yeah, that's great. There's fraud is probably one of the biggest ways to waste a lot of time in e-commerce.
Absolutely.
I'm going to grab one more here because it looks like we're over the time and we do have a bunch. So if we don't get to your question today, we're going to do follow-up afterward to make sure that we answer all your questions individually because we do have a bunch of them popping in here. So don't worry if we don't get to your question live here. We'll follow up with you individually and make sure that you do get an answer to your question. This person wanted to know, how long should it take me to build emails to send to my customers? So that's going to depend on just how into the weeds you want to get. It's like our template builder, for example, has a ton of pre-built customizable templates. So you can go on there, make a few alterations, kind of personalize it to your company with the brand colors or a logo, add in some personalization variables so that it uses somebody's name or pulls in information about their last order, and you can be literally done in a few minutes. You can also build a template completely from scratch if you know HTML, or like I said, our builder has a drag and drop feature that you can create some images of your own and just kind of load them in there and drag and drop call to action buttons and social media buttons and things like that. We actually just recently added the ability to edit images right in the builder where you can add text and change background color and all that stuff. So for your first few times, I'd recommend setting aside more time than you think you'll need because it always takes longer to design something than you think it's going to. And it may take you a couple of hours the first time around, but then after that, kind of once you kind of get in the hang of what you want your brand to look like and how you want your brand to be presented to your customers, then you should be pretty good to go, and it'll be a lot faster of a process. So, but I would say at the beginning, give yourself a little bit more time. Kind of the time investment in the front end will save you a ton later in the back end. So I hope that answers that question for you. And then Katie, I think there's one more here for you that I want to make sure. So what are some of the best selling categories on Bonanza? I think that one's like one that a couple people asked.
Yeah, great, thanks. So trending categories will typically vary by season, right? So obviously this time of year, you're probably going to sell more bathing suits than you are Christmas sweaters. But some categories that are popular year round will include things like watches, men's shoes and clothing are pretty popular, home and garden, car and truck parts is another one, and also handbags. And that's just a few of our kind of popular ones year round. But one of the unique features that Bonanza offers on our selling dashboard is a module that highlights what categories have been performing well over the last 30 days on Bonanza, and even Google shopping keyword trends. So this really gives sellers more information on how they can better source inventory for what's actually working on maybe different platforms or on different seasons and different times of year.
Awesome. That sounds like something very good to know at the end here and take home with you. So thank you everybody for hanging out to the end here. Like I said, if you asked a question, I knew there's still a handful in here, but we'll follow up with you, make sure that you get an answer very quickly. So if you want to learn more about ShippingEasy's Bonanza integration, go to shippingeasy.com/bonanza-integration. You can have a 30-day free trial of all three elements of our platform to kind of give it a spin and see if it's going to be what you need to help you make this your best Q4 yet. And if you also are not yet a Bonanza customer and want to learn more about selling on Bonanza, please go to bonanza.com/sell_products_online. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and happy shipping.
Hey, thanks, Rob.
Thank you.